man has been sentenced to 31 years for a murder which the judge described as cold-blooded and calculated. 32-year-old Natalie McNally was 15 weeks pregnant when she was strangled, stabbed and beaten to death in Lurgan in 2022.
The judge said that Stephen McCullagh did not just kill Natalie, he also knew that her unborn baby boy would have no chance of surviving the murderous assault. Well, Sarah O'Kane is outside Belfast Crown Court. Sarah, it's been another very difficult day for Natalie's family.
Yes, this has been a very difficult and, of course, long 3 years for Natalie's family. As you can imagine, inside court, it was emotional. There were tears. We were all told how Natalie was fun, loving and caring, and her murder has left a giant empty space that will never be filled. And as you heard, the judge said that McCullagh did not just kill Natalie, he knew her unborn baby boy would never survive the attack. Well, he's been handed one of the longest sentences in Northern Ireland, and this is why. Now, I must warn you, you may find some of the details in my report distressing.
Is the patient breathing?
No! She's cold!
Okay.
No, there's blood everywhere.
Wait, listen to me. I'm organising.
This is all an act. The voice of a killer. Stephen McCullagh pretending to be distraught on the 999 call.
Go to the cards,
All part of his calculated plan to try and get away with murder, but he didn't.
Stephen, you're under arrest for murder. You do not have to say anything, but I must caution you that if you do not mention with
Today, the
questions...
36-year-old, who was treated like a grieving partner by Natalie McNally's family, was sentenced to 31 years for what the judge described as a brutal and frenzied attack.
Today we do not celebrate the sentence handed down as Bernard, my 3 boys and myself are serving a life sentence since the murder of our beloved Natalie. But hopefully it will serve to deter and to help stop violence against women and girls in this country.
Natalie was 15 weeks pregnant with McCullagh's unborn baby boy when she was strangled, stabbed and beaten to death by him in her Lurgan home in December 2022. McCullagh tried to frame Natalie's ex-boyfriend and fool everyone. The judge told the court his behaviour towards the McNally family showed his absolute determination to cover his tracks, presenting himself as devastated, distraught and shocked. The judge said, "Mr McCullagh, please stand. This was a senseless and brutal murder. This murder was planned with remorseless detail. You attacked someone you profess to love in a frenzied assault, characterised by excessive and gratuitous violence. This killing was cold-blooded and calculated." As the judge sentenced McCullagh to 31 years, he stood in the dock and simply nodded.
Hey, and we're live. Hello, everyone.
The 5-week trial heard how McCullagh of Woodland Gardens in Lisburn pre-recorded a YouTube video days before the murder and broadcast it on the 18th of December, the night Natalie was attacked, pretending it was live, the fake alibi that he nearly got away with. But this is the moment he was caught out on his lie.
Now, your device has been examined. Okay, it was seized and it was examined. And there is nothing to suggest that you were on that device between 6 o'clock and midnight on the 18th of December.
I haven't seen a case like this in 27 years as a lawyer. The level of premeditation, the level of planning and cover-up, we've never seen anything like that. McCullagh believed he was cleverer than the authorities, that he could outwit the police and that he could get off with this.
You're getting to see this CCTV footage for the first time. This is McCullagh getting on a bus in Lisburn, hood up and face covered. He then gets off in Lurgan. Watch him here calmly walk away moments after murdering Natalie, and then in a disguise he gets into a taxi home. McCullagh has never admitted what he did, but weeks ago we heard how he told probation he doesn't remember, But if he did do it, he is a monster. This is one of the longest sentences to be handed down in Northern Ireland. McCullagh will have to spend 31 years in prison before he's even eligible to be considered for release. Well, I spoke to the man in charge of what was a very complex murder investigation, Detective Chief Inspector Neil McGuinness, and he told me McCullagh is a danger to all women.
Stephen McCullagh's outward image was very different from who he really was. So Stephen McCullagh is shown himself to be a cruel, calculating, manipulative individual.
How dangerous is he?
I would say Stephen McCullagh is an extremely dangerous individual. He presents a real danger to any woman or children around him. And I base that not only on the behaviour that I've seen and the brutality of the attack on Natalie, but also the callous way in which he tried to manipulate everyone around him, including people who had tried to stand by him, including Natalie's family, in order to sort of play the victim role himself.
Who made the decision to rule him out as a suspect so quickly, though?
I made the decision to desuspect Stephen McCullagh initially. The information that I had at hand at that time don't have the benefit of all the information we have at hand now, and we don't have any hindsight.
Are you sorry to the family, and do you have regrets? Because he was able to worm his way in, and we all now know he was given time alone with her coffin, which quite frankly is sick.
Yeah, Stephen McCullagh is the person responsible for that behaviour. I have explained my rationale to the family, so the family are well aware of why I took the decision that I took, and the reason for that. I have told them that I regret the pain that has caused, and that will always live with me as an individual. However, I think the family accept, the rationale that I had at the time. They know the twists and turns that this investigation took for 3.5 years, but they also know that Stephen McCullagh was the person who chose to not only betray Natalie and her baby, but also to betray their trust.
In the time of your career, were you shocked by the level of violence that Natalie was subjected to?
Natalie McNally was subjected to a horrific attack. I was shocked at that level of violence, but sadly I've seen it in other cases as well. And people can do horrific things to other people. And we know what the violence against women and girls are in Northern Ireland and what the statistics are. Just
describe that moment the guilty verdict came in for you.
The moment the jury foreman gave the verdict, my heart was in my mouth. The biggest sense that I had was relief, because I had promised the McNally family that we would deliver justice for Natalie. I had made my own personal commitment that I would try to speak for Natalie and the baby. And it was so crucial that while I believe the case was very strong, and I believe that the jury would have been persuaded, I was still really nervous, partly because I could not face the consequences of Stephen McCullagh being released into the community again, and with the risk that I believe he poses to women. So I was frightened, and it was relief after all the 3.5 years of hard work.
I think in that moment everyone did freeze in court. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
I've never experienced. I have 29 years in the police service, and I've never experienced a moment like that.
Are women now safer because Stephen McCullagh is behind bars?
Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly.
Well, of course, a lot of focus has been on McCullagh and what he did. But today it's important to think about Natalie, who she was, compassionate, strong and independent. And of course her unborn baby boy Dean, who the family say was never given a chance at life.